So I'm Madison Lloyd. I just wanted to tell a little bit about my story of like brain surgery. I had brain surgery almost 4 years ago in June of 2016. So I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about like what kind of led up to it, the during and knowing it all, and then like the after, just in case like maybe somebody else is possibly going through this and they just want like a word of encouragement about it, or I don't know, someone just wants to hear it. I had migraines and headaches and everything like as a child. Like it was just something I experienced. Eventually it went away. Like I took medicine for it, but it eventually kind of like faded away. We never really thought anything of it. We just thought, oh, they're headaches or migraines. It is what it is. So bypassed all throughout my childhood, whatever. And then in high school, I was a cheerleader. I went to Beaufort High School and I was a varsity cheerleader for competitions, football games, everything. A lot of times, like, accidents happen in cheerleading. It's not like a big, like, oh, like secret that accidents don't happen. It's just like any other sport. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna do something stupid and hurt yourself. It's the nature of sports in general, and I'm sure most people have seen the Netflix series Cheer by now, and you know that accidents happen in cheerleading. I was not the best tumbler in cheerleading, but to get on the mat, most of the time you do need to have some sort of tumbling to kind of push yourself and have more likely of a chance of getting on the mat. You don't necessarily have to have tumbling, but if it's versus a person with tumbling versus a person without tumbling, the person with tumbling is probably gonna be the one on the mat. So I like went through like a few years, like 2, of learning how to do a back handspring. I wasn't the most confident person in the world going backwards, kind of terrifying for me, but I wanted to get that skill so that I could have a definite spot on the mat. So I constantly worked on back handsprings. That was like the only skill I actually tried to learn. I wasn't getting anywhere past that. I was a base. I had good motions. Like I had all of that kind of stuff. It was just tumbling was that much toxic. My senior year, we had been to state every single year. We had won a region competition every single year. So it's kind of like you know that it's going to happen kind of thing, or at least you're hoping. Of course, if you make a tiny little mistake, it's not going to happen. It was kind of like that set in stone, like we got this in our head, but still working day in, day out and wanting to get there. And especially being like your senior year, you want to make sure everything's perfect, everything's going to happen. You're going to get to state and hopefully win. But you, as a senior, you want to make sure you get to state, so you try to do everything you can to get there. I guess like the beginning part of the story, I've just been rambling, was we were at our region cheer competition. I was a base. We were in our warm-ups. The region, there was like 4 other teams, I think, so it wasn't like we had a lot of teams to compete with. We won region every year. It wasn't a big deal. It was just something that we had to do. So it was our region competition. We were back in the back warming up. If you weren't a cheerleader, I'm sure you probably don't know how warm-ups work. So for warm-ups, you have like a tumbling floor, so you do like tumbling warm-ups. You have a stunt floor where you do like stunt warm-ups, and then you have a full mat where you would like warm up the entire routine. So there's like 3 different steps. Of course, you stretch prior to all that. So our first station for region was stunting. And so basically we would go over our like partner stunts and then our pyramid, baskets, and all that stuff. So during warm-ups, we were doing our partner stunt. I think we were like cradling, so we were cradling. But anyways, whenever my player came down, she did land on my knee, and like my knee was in a lot of pain. Eventually we did find out that it was hyperextended, so it wasn't like broke or anything, which is great. It did hurt a lot. I'm a very vicious type of person, and I was not gonna let that stop me. I was not gonna sit out of this competition just because I hurt my knee. I continued to try. I went to the next station and did, like, try not to cry obviously, went to the next station to warm up tumbling. At this point I had my back handspring. It wasn't pretty, but I had my back handspring on my own and a round off back handspring, which also was not pretty. So I warmed up those. Obviously it was hard to like land on it. It was a lot of pain. So then we warm up the rest of the routine. Still like fighting off tears, and we go to perform. Before you kind of like go in the hole before you go on the mat. So like when we're in the hole, we all like cuddle together, we like pray, we kind of encourage each other and get each other through that. So obviously during that I was like fighting off tears, trying out the craft and trying to get through it. So we went on the mat and we performed. During my back handspring, like I back handspring to like the front corner, I think it was. Like I got back handspring to the front corner and it landed really hard on my head. But I landed on my head but then still flipped over. So I hit my head pretty hard because I couldn't push off on my knee to do the back handspring appropriately. I couldn't push off, which means I didn't get enough air to flip, which means I landed pretty hard on my head. But at that point I was in tears, but I was still doing the routine. I don't quite remember where we went to next. I think it was stunning. Everything's kind of like a blur after that, but it's also been 4.5 years since that even happened. That was back in November of 2015. So that was a little bit crazy. I definitely cried the entire rest of the routine. After I got off the mat, I didn't really know where to go from there because I definitely needed to go be checked out by the personal trainer thing that they have there. My coach actually went and helped me try to find my mom and tried to get me to wherever I needed to be. The first thing my mom said was, "What's wrong with her head?" Because all she saw was me laying on my head. But it wasn't my head that was the problem, it was my knee. So they kind of explained what happened. Then we went to like the little PT room and they said that it didn't appear to have any like definite damage, but it was probably like hyperextended or whatever. That was like a Thursday night. It was also senior year, so we were also had homecoming the next day, which I really enjoyed. Friday Night Light cheerleading. It was like fun and preppy. Like I enjoyed that stuff. There's a lot of cheerleaders who will say they don't enjoy that part, that they really just enjoy the competition part. I enjoyed both. So not being able to be a part of your homecoming pep rally or be a part of cheering the homecoming game was kind of disappointing, not gonna lie, especially being a senior and that was like the last chance. So that kind of sucked. Then I actually went to the doctor that Friday morning. That Thursday night after we got home from the competition, we're blowing up balloons and everything for our senior parade float, which also I should have been in the parade because the cheerleaders were in the parade. And so my dad like worked hard on like the really big float or whatever because I was part of a student council or something. I went to the doctor that morning for my knee and they said they like did the x-rays and stuff. They gave me like this brace with like the metal things on the side of it to put on my knee. And then to compete in that, I had to wear that, but I also had to put like a sleeve over top of it to like prevent the sharp edges from being a safety hazard. I got to school, like the day was pretty much almost over because of how long I had been at the doctor. But I still had to go to school in order to go to the game that night. So I went to school, I got there, and then as soon as I got there and sat down in class, it was time to go to the parade. I went to the gym because I couldn't walk in the parade because I couldn't walk. So I went to the gym area and kind of helped like finish setting up the inside for the pep rally, and then stood outside and watched the parade. And then afterwards, I wasn't able to really cheer much in the pep rally. Wasn't really able to do much of anything. I couldn't show off the fact that I got a back handspring like everybody else normally does tumbling during the pep rally. But I did like speak on the microphone, I think that's what I did. Anyway, so it was like a lot of like, okay, well that sucks to be my senior year. Well, little did you know, that was just the beginning. But after competition and everything was over, obviously I was taking a lot of pain medicine to deal with my knee and to still practice every day and then compete every Saturday and then get to the state competition and compete at the state competition. So obviously I had a lot of medicine, pain medicine to get through there. Eventually, after competition was over, I wasn't like banging on my knee day after day. I kind of weaned off the medicine and I was pretty much fine. I didn't have to wear a knee brace anymore or anything. It was probably a month after, so like the state competition is normally like the second week in November, I believe. And I started getting headaches in December of 2015. And it was like bad headaches. So I went to the doctor. It was just like a family doctor kind of thing. And their first like assumption of, and it was like a doctor I'd never really seen before. It was a last minute appointment because I think my brother was going to the doctor for something. So it was like, okay, well, since he's going to the doctor, we'll just go ahead and let you go to the doctor. And my dad was with me. So he was, like, my dad was there with my brother because he was obviously younger, like he needed a parent with him. And so I was kind of like off on my own. So like I talked to the doctor about everything. And the doctor basically said, oh, you're probably just having withdrawals from the pain medicine, which is why you're getting headaches. So just kind of like play it out and it'll probably go away. But we're going to go ahead and order a CT scan just to make sure there's not anything like actually serious going on. Also explained everything about like the cheer and how I did fall on my head that one time during the competition. And obviously I fell on my head several times before that during practice. But so they just kind of recommended kind of playing it out. But we got a CT scan. Whenever I went to the hospital, my mom was there. My mom actually helped me like get past all this stuff to get to the CT scan. And whenever they looked at the CT scan, they said that it appeared to be bruised like in this section. My pain was back here. So whenever they did the scans and stuff, they were more focused on back in this area, like behind my ear, but you could still get like an image of this part. So they saw like the bruising up here. So after that, they kind of started focusing more on this area, because if you know like pain in your head, like if it hurts on your right side, it's probably something on your left side kind of thing, however brains work. I don't know that much about brains. But like the pain was a lot back here, so that's what they originally focused on, but then they saw like a dark spot up here. So they saw like bruising. So they thought it was like a bruise, but because he was just like, he wasn't like specialized in brains, he didn't know that much about brains, he did recommend that I go to a neurologist. So I went to a neurologist in Lancaster, and whenever she looked at it, she was like, kind of think it's a little bit more serious than that, maybe a cyst of some sort. So she recommended getting an MRI, and I think I also got an MRA, which is like the MRI with like the ink stuff that kind of shows like your veins and stuff, so that she could see a little bit more of what was going on. So whenever she did that, she thought that it was definitely a cyst, and because it was causing pain, she wanted me to go to someone a little bit higher. It's all about like getting second opinions. By the time I guess it was third opinion. So she recommended going to a neurosurgeon. She actually went to a neurosurgeon up in Charlotte. Whenever he looked at this stuff, he definitely thought that it was a tumor. It's definitely a tumor, and you're probably gonna need brain surgery. So then it was, what does that entail? Obviously, being an 18-year-old, you have no clue what like brain surgery entails. I wasn't the science person. Like, I didn't care about science. I didn't really understand science that much. I could do math all day long, but if you tell me anything science related, I'm not gonna understand. Which is also why I didn't go into the medical field like my parents. Like, that wasn't my thing. So I didn't understand science. Like, you could tell me all this kind of stuff and I wouldn't have a clue what you're talking about. So it was like, brain surgery, okay, like what does that mean? Like, it's up here, so are you gonna like cut my face and that's it? I was like, no, we're going to have to shave part of your hair. So in my idea of what they were doing was that they were going to like kind of glue most of this hair back and then just shave like the tiniest amount right here to be able to pull down the skin to get inside the skull and get to the tumor and to remove it. That's not what happened, which, yeah, so that's not what happened, but that was what I was told during all those little meetings, was that it was just going to be like hair glued down, keep as much hair as possible, shave off like this little area, and then cut your head open, pull your skin down, drill into your skull and get out the tumor. That was still, I think that was in January when we talked all about all that. Obviously this is my senior year. I do not want to have brain surgery in the middle of my senior year and miss out on everything that being a senior entails, like proms and graduation, and I was second in my class. I didn't want to like lose that rank because of having brain surgery. Obviously at times it was kind of concerning because I had a lot of head pain. The way that schools work, or they did 4 years ago, was you had to go to the nurse to get any pain medicine. Like, you had to go to the nurse for any kind of medicine, even if it was prescribed to you, even if you had to take it on specific hours. Like, you had to go to the nurse. most of the time the nurse would close at 2 o'clock and school doesn't get out until 3:30. And if you have cheer practice after that, you're not going to be able to take medicine throughout that time. So we definitely found our way around that. I'm not really going to throw any names out there, but we definitely got our way around it, and the people who know how they helped us get around that know who they are. So thankful for that, because I definitely would not have been able to get through cheer practices, because we still had basketball season, so I wouldn't have been able to get through cheer practices or basketball season or the day at school at all without having some sort of pain medicine because of how bad my head hurt. So obviously I didn't want to miss out on that stuff, so we kind of postponed brain surgery until the summertime, which means I could graduate, I could go to prom, I could do all the senior things, senior picnic, a last vacation or senior vacation kind of thing. I think it was June 24th of 2016 when we decided to have the surgery. Obviously during that time it was still like checking up, making sure everything was okay, taking medicine. Obviously it was like a big shock to everybody, including family, friends, church people, people who had known me at all. They were praying, they were concerned, like everything. It was kind of hard to go through classes, try to keep my GPA to stay second in the class when you can barely hold your eyes open because of how bad your head hurts. But I made it. So we got through senior year I graduated May 26th, 24th, 25th, 26th, one of those days. And then May 31st, which was like the Monday after graduation, it was a couple days after, I think it was the Monday after graduation, we went to Charlotte to do my brain mapping, which is again where they put like the ink to see like your brain, to see the tumor that they thought at the time was a tumor. So to see the tumor, to see the veins and everything surrounding that, so they know like where they're cutting, where they're doing the incision, what they're taking out, what they're leaving, what they're not touching, all that stuff. We did that on the 31st. Obviously we were all praying that it disappeared, miracle, but it didn't. It didn't disappear. It was still there. At that time, the brain mapping thing was like, I went from the building with my parents to outside to a trailer, and that's where they did it, which was literally terrifying. And I was by myself. That was terrifying and emotional. Okay, so then we got through with that stuff. Then we went on vacation, like the beginning of June, I believe. We went to Florida, and I think we went to Universal Studios. So that was like my senior vacation, last vacation kind of thing. Alright, so then we came back home. So once we came back home, it was pretty much like go time, like get everything organized, figure everything out. I think the surgery was supposed to last like 3 hours. So we were planning on my parents being there for a long time. So at this time my mom still worked at the hospital. All of the people that she worked with gathered together, gathered like a bunch of stuff and made like this huge kit of like stuff to keep them occupied, like snacks and like games and stuff to kind of like keep them occupied, because 3 hours is a long time. So fast forward to the day of brain surgery. I think it was supposed to be like at 5 o'clock that night. I wasn't allowed to eat anything, so you can imagine that I was starving at that point. But it was more of not really knowing what time it was gonna be. From my memory, I think we kept like waiting on phone calls, and they would say when something got done to come in. But originally they called us and they said, hey, it's gonna take a little bit longer than usual. We're gonna have to push it back a little bit. And so I remember my mom asking something about, well, can she eat if it's gonna take so long because she's starving? I think I was allowed to eat like a little something. So then we got a phone call later, and then it was like, okay, you can go ahead and come in. So we came in, like we went all the way to Charlotte, came in, and then it was like we were sitting there forever. And when you're about to get your brain cut open, sitting there forever, it was probably like not even an hour, but to me it felt like forever because it's terrifying. So it was again like waiting for people to show up, to kind of be there to support, not really knowing who was showing up, or if the people I wanted to show up were even going to be there by the time I was taken back. So I don't really remember much of anything after that. I remember going into the room, and I think my parents were allowed back there, and then my preacher, Steve, at the time was allowed back there. And then I think they could allow like one guest to kind of rotate through. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't allow. Sorry to hurt anybody's feelings. I didn't want a lot of emotion in the room at the time because I was obviously emotional. So I definitely didn't allow, like I didn't really want anybody else to rotate through. So then it was finally like time to get everything done, like anesthesia, everything else that they do. I obviously don't know what they do. And so then they took me back, and I don't really remember anything after that. Obviously I wasn't awake during the surgery. So according to my mother, the surgery lasted an hour, and again they said that it was probably going to last 3 hours because they thought it was a tumor. It ended up not being the tumor that they thought it was. It ended up being a little cluster of cysts right in my frontal lobe. So it took an hour to get them all out instead of 3 hours like originally was stated. I think I was supposed to stay at the hospital for like a week or something. Like it was supposed to be a really long time. I was there for 48 hours after the surgery, so I think I was there like 2 nights maybe, and then I was allowed to go home. So I did see like a few visitors, but because I wasn't there that long, most people could just come and visit me at the house whenever we got done. So that was like definitely like a miracle. Like the fact that it should have been a 3-hour surgery, but it was only an hour surgery because it wasn't a tumor, it was a group of cysts, which is a lot easier to remove. I think they did take them back and like examine them to figure out like why like it appeared to be a tumor, but then it wasn't a tumor. Like I get back home, obviously I haven't washed my hair or anything since then because I had brain surgery. I had disgusting scar looking stuff, but it was kind of disgusting in my mind. So it was completely shaved from like the middle of my head all the way down to my ear. And so like that's where the scar is. It starts right here and then it goes all the way down here, and then it was shaved a couple inches back, which again I was told that it was not going to be a couple inches back, that my hair was going to be slicked back and it would be like the smallest little shaved hair. So obviously when I saw that I was very distraught, to say the least. So my cousin Lori actually came over to wash my hair because well, I obviously couldn't wash my hair because I wasn't allowed to like wash it. Like I had to lay down in like the sink, so I laid down in the kitchen sink and washed it from there. And then my mom, I don't know if I just wouldn't let her or if I didn't feel comfortable. I don't really know what happened. So Lori came over to wash my hair. So I'm laying across the kitchen counter, laying with my head in the sink, and my hair was put in like a ponytail, like not a ponytail, it was a blue rubber band. My hair was put in a blue rubber band, and they apparently had put all of my hair in a blue rubber band and then shaved it. So all of the hair that was shaved off was still in the blue rubber band, which, me being an 18-year-old, that was not the best sight in the world for me to see. So whenever she takes the rubber band out and goes to start washing my hair, all of this hair falls out, and I start crying and having a panic attack because I think all of my hair is falling out. Like now it's probably like, oh wow, like it's just hair. And now I guess I kind of realize that, but at the time it wasn't just hair to me. It was, I'm about to go to college completely by myself. There's nobody from my school going with me, no friends, just me going to a new city by myself and no hair. So that was kind of like not the greatest thing in my mind, but I was kind of like put some pictures of like how fast my hair really grew. Like it was completely shaved with the ugly scar. I still have the scar, and you can kind of see it sometimes depending on how I wear my hair. It was ugly. I didn't like it. So I tried to wear like headbands to kind of cover it up, or you see on pictures I like pulled my hair forward and like fake bangs and tried to like cover it up. My cousin Lori does work at the hair club, so they could do like implants and like stuff. So like if my hair wasn't growing back, I would have been able to figure something out. But whenever they looked at like the microscope thing at my bald head, they saw that my hair was growing back extremely fast, which is, I guess, great for me. My hair does grow very fast. So my hair grew pretty fast, pretty quickly. So they said that really putting anything in my hair, like doing fibers or doing like any sort of extension right there, was gonna do more harm than good. Like there was no purpose in it because it was gonna grow back sooner anyways. So I didn't do any of that. So I just kind of kept covering it up and trying to go out in public without being super self-conscious, because I'm a self-conscious person, especially when half your head's shaved off and an ugly scar. So I guess this is kind of like the after effects of it. Originally I was just self-conscious about like the fact that my head's bald. I'm about to go to school in Columbia and I'm not gonna know anybody and I'm gonna have to try to make friends, but I have a bald head. So to say the least, when I went to Columbia, I didn't try to make friends because I was very self-conscious. Over the time I did eventually make friends, but it wasn't like my key goal when going there. I was like, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna get a degree, I'm gonna get out. I did graduate 3 years, so I kind of did that. But I did eventually like try to make friends after a while. But that wasn't my original goal because of how self-conscious I was with my head going on. Which, I mean, it's kind of a cool story, so probably should have said something about it. Probably shouldn't have covered it up as much, but as beside the fact, it is what it is. So after that, so school, I was kind of like shy at the first and didn't really try to make friends or try to do anything really. I came back a lot of weekends because I didn't like being alone. Okay, so after that, after all that stuff, kind of like I guess it was 2017, I started working at Treehouse Vineyards as an intern. And so that was like one of my requirements for school was 2 internships. My first one was at Treehouse Vineyards. And when I was there, we have like food trucks every Friday and Saturday night almost. So when I was there, we had a crab and shellfish kind of like food truck or whatever. So this is the fun part. This basically ruined my life. So I got like shrimp from the food truck. And after I like started eating, my hand started turning purple. And I wasn't really sure what was going on. It's just my hand was turning purple. It was a little bit itchy, but mainly my hand started turning purple. The owner went down and got Benadryl so I could take Benadryl and kind of calm it down. And we were like, that was weird. Not really sure what's going on. Fast forward after that, kind of like stayed away from shellfish. I didn't eat it a ton, like I ate it some, but every single time like something weird would happen. I went back to Columbia. One of my classes there was for like hospitality majors have to do like part of like food and beverage. The first class is you are like cooking food, you're learning how to make food. The second class is serving. So you're back of house, you're doing like back of house management, you're doing back of house, making the plates, making the dishes to be served. And then the other part of it is actually serving. So you like serve the guests, you're doing front of house kind of stuff. My first part of this class, I was back of house. During my back of house stuff, we had a lot of like shrimp and grits and shrimp and something, shrimp and pasta. Like there was a lot of like shrimp. We would wear gloves because we're preparing the ready to eat food. So we're wearing gloves and like putting the shrimp, like we had to make the shrimp kind of cute on the grits. And then every time I would be in the back of the house, I would start like feeling super itchy. My throat would start feeling tight. My hands would change colors. Like it was really weird, and I constantly had to like find Benadryl, or I'd have to take Benadryl ahead of time before class. And it just got worse and worse. At one point I literally had to leave the class because my throat was closing up. I had to go take a lot of Benadryl, take a shower, get like the shrimp protein like smell off of me. Called my mom during that and she was like, okay, you probably have developed a shellfish allergy. So she got the doctor to get me EpiPen just in case I would need them, because I still had to finish out the class, which after that I would think I was mainly in the front of house, but I would still be serving the food, so I'd still be like in contact with them. So just in case I needed the EpiPen, I would have it with me. Obviously I couldn't have a bag or anything, so in the front of the house we had to wear like black slacks and then like a white button down with a tie. So my black slacks had like a little pocket in them, and I would always just slide my EpiPen in my pocket just in case I needed it. And everybody was kind of aware at that point of what was going on. So So just in case somebody needed to stab me with an EpiPen, they knew what was going on. But how this relates to the brain surgery stuff. Apparently the dye that they put in you whenever, or back then, whenever you put, the dye they put in you was derived from shellfish or shrimp or something. So they said apparently once you do that, then eventually you could possibly become allergic to shellfish. So needless to say, I'm that 1% and became allergic to shellfish, which definitely sucks because I definitely like shrimp. And it kind of affected everything else after that. Obviously I can't go to any place that serves shellfish, where that's like their main thing. Hibachi restaurants, can't go there anymore because of the shrimp cooking and the proteins flying through the air would close up my throat, and then cross-contamination happens a lot. And being that I did learn a lot about the food service industry, worked in the food service industry, worked for catering at the zoo in Colombia, and had a lot of reactions there too, so I had an EpiPen for that. Took a lot of Benadryl for that as well. My managers did try to keep me away from that, so if there was an event that didn't have shellfish, I was obviously working that one instead of the one that did. So they really tried to keep me away from that aspect, but always had that EpiPen if needed. So now I can't really work catering, which kind of sucks because that's kind of partly what I wanted to do, was event planning and catering. So I can't really do much with catering. I can do some, but a lot of places to actually go work for can't really do that because of the fact that most people do have shellfish or shrimp cocktails or something like that at their wedding or at any event. So can't really do much with that. Also, like restaurants, like I have to be super careful. Even walking into like Mexican restaurants, if somebody walks by with a shrimp fajita platter, it's gonna start getting tight. So I try to go to these places, always can't, which kind of sucks. And I don't know if it really sucks more for me because I feel like I can't eat those places, or if it sucks for the people that I'm with because they can't go to those places because they're with me. But hopefully, eventually, I don't know if it ever will, because it just kind of continues to get worse, so I don't know if it ever will be a tolerable stage where I can continue going. But again, it all does relate back to having brain surgery, and that's kind of like the effects of it now. Obviously that's not the worst thing. I could be like paralyzed or whatever the worst possible thing could happen from brain surgery. I don't know. Brain stopped working. I don't really know. I didn't look into all the horrors of it because you don't want to look into the horrors of it when you're about to go through it. So that's pretty much it. Just to like recap, I do feel like there was no way that I would, or even me and my family would have gotten through this alone if there wasn't other like support. Before I started filming this, I did go through my mom's Facebook to try to get pictures, even though she didn't post many pictures because I didn't let her post many pictures because I didn't like it. But I did like look back and look through to try to find pictures, and there was people that I didn't even know that had commented, had shared, had said they were praying about it all. So obviously we wouldn't have gotten through any of this stuff without like a support group, support family, friends, and all that stuff. So with that being said, I do think, or I hope that like, if somebody is going through something, I hope you have people to help you through it. If you don't, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to anybody, definitely me, or like somebody who's been through it, and they're probably kind of talk you through it, tell you whatever you not necessarily want to hear but need to hear to get it through it all. Maybe this is a little bit more detailed than some people who wanted to hear the story were actually hoping for. Yeah, it's kind of not the best in the world, but it's a situation. You get through it, and you come out better on the other side. So I think that's it. If you have any questions or anything, you can reach out to me and I will gladly answer any questions that anybody has. Thanks for watching.